From cultural anthropology, when I first came here in Latvia in 1992, I looked at marriages differently than people here. I already knew about Tantra. I was practicing that stuff for years. I'm pretty old, okay? And I saw people here just like bottled up inside themselves. And it was a strange experience for me to see these things, but I was waiting to see what was here. On the other hand, there's a naturalness to what's here in Latvia. And I don't know, I'd be very interested for anybody who comes from a different culture about your impressions later on, once the lecture is done, and say, yeah, I found this is positive and this is negative, and I don't know what about this. As for me, I found a greater deal, compared to American culture, where I came from, a greater deal of naturalness to relationships, sexual and otherwise. It's just natural. Come on, this is what people do. On the other hand, I found a emotional closed stoniness, not expression of emotion, not being open emotionally. So I'll think a little bit before I'll react, type of thing. That was my impression. On the other hand, there's some really amazing stuff here. Okay. And so I wanted to remind you that in the last 300 to 500 years, marriage has changed drastically. It's been reinvented several times. We reinvented it. So when we're talking, is it open relationship possible? It's already been done. All you have to do is pick up any book on literature and go back to the 1800s, 1700s. Stuff was happening then. People got married for just like property rights, management of family, and then they had their lover on the side. One of the links that I give you is on the history of love, and you'll find that love was not really put together with the whole thing of marriage until relatively recently, okay? And so we might have unrealistic expectations of what we want from our significant other or others, about what they are supposed to fulfill in us, what our needs are. We live in a time where men have finally figured out it's no big deal, actually. If you know about it, you've been doing it, I hope. But for instance, men have learned to do this thing called a karaza. What it means is when you're making love, men are just getting right close to orgasm and pulling off. Right close to orgasm and pulling off during the love-making session. And what that means is that the man will feel the orgasm without the ejaculation. In really just like pragmatic terms, it means that you make love for a long time and you get high as hell, both of you. And you enjoy it and you enjoy it.
Edging.
Yeah, edging is another word of putting it. But edging is a little bit different, but yeah. And so why is this so important? Well, now that people are knowing about this, it turns out that it's a whole different edge to the relationship. What happens if men are now paying attention to pleasing their ladies? What if ladies are pleasing their ladies? And so it goes. This type of thing is now just as common as women now using birth control. These are things that have radically changed. It wasn't the case that, oh, hey, dude, did you keep her all night? I mean, or was it a quickie, But now I can hear those conversations in the bars. Guys are more aware. And I'm sorry, I've got to say one thing. When I first came here in 92, I remember that people were doing contraception as abortion. It's not funny. It was dramatically tough. Women would go, yeah, well, and then, oh, I got pregnant. Guess I go to the get my abortion. And so there are people that are like, well, roughly my age, in their 40s or 50s, that will tell you, I can't have kids or I didn't have kids because I had too many abortions. So we forget about how much has transformed in northeastern Europe. It's a big difference. It's a big difference. Oh, one other thing I want to mention is modern relationships are easily available now. You can get online, and I can send you a text, and you send me a text, and we are doing what is called hyper-communication. We really quickly get to know each other very intensely. It happens over the internet. It can happen. You know it. I know it. Well, this is a new dimension. Believe me, our parents didn't deal with this. And you can have more than one relationship that way. So this is making open relationships more possible. And now, I may as well just ruin it for you. Are open relationships possible? Yes, the gay community has been quite successful doing it for quite a long time. You can too, if you want to, if that's what you decide. That's it. You know, it's like, okay, lecture's done. No, I mean, that's how it can work.